As Gandhi once said, be the brand you want to see in the world. Years ago, I was starting my first company and I hired a CEO coach. This guy had fought in the Korean War. He later became the CEO of a public company, among many other things. I was super impressed by him, his writing, and he presented to me a framework that has stuck with me ever since. And this wasn't his idea. We don't know whose idea this was, but it's been popularized and I think it's worth sharing further. And that is the vision, mission, objectives, values framework to starting a company. And it goes a little bit like this. You set a vision that essentially is never achievable, but if you are completing your objectives, you are getting closer to achieving the vision. You set a mission that is achievable within some number of years, and we'll talk about that. Then you set values, which are essentially things that you don't tolerate. And I'm going to shout out to my friend Paul for putting it that way. And lastly, you have objectives. Objectives are specific things you can do tactically that, when achieved, will achieve your mission. And of course, as you're getting closer to your mission, you're getting closer to your vision. Now, I will take a step back and say that if you are working on a side hustle, a new hobby, just tinkering, experimenting, I don't think it makes sense to plot out your vision and your mission before you have version 1 of your product. But if you're trying to build something that should last for years or maybe even outlast you, if you're trying to build something that you want to chew on with all of your heart, soul, and mind, that you want to recruit people to help you with, that you want to risk your reputation on, and perhaps most importantly, if you're trying to build something that you intend to take other people's money to develop in the form of investment, that I do think it's worth putting together this document for what you're up to. And so today I just want to talk about Terminal's values and walk through how they've morphed a little bit over the last couple of years and how I think that's reflected in how we operate day to day, week to week. First value that I wrote down in 2023 when I started Terminal was speed. I like testing things in production. I don't believe in staging servers. I think that's a form of technical debt. And I think it starts over time to compound into making everything on a quarterly basis or next year basis. That's just very boring to me. I prefer setting deadlines, sometimes missing them, but at least having them means we're going to move faster. But a result of this is that we occasionally blow something up. We had a big release today and we blew up the image generation servers. That's what happens when you ship quickly. But I think the net is much better for customers and frankly, a lot more fun to be working on the team. Second value is hackers welcome. We try to make jailbreak-friendly architecture for as many devices as we can, including devices that we don't make or sell. We want to prevent e-waste. We know that people are going to tinker anyway, so we might as well make it easy. One way that exhibits itself is with our latest device. We have screws everywhere. We didn't use snap fit clips. We didn't use glue. That would have been easier, but instead we gave you screws, we give you a screwdriver, and we say, hey, open it up. Do what you want to do. We trust you because it's your device anyway. And if somehow you break things, we'll sell you a replacement part at cost. Hackers welcome. Third value, skin in the game. There's a lot I can say about this. A whole video I could talk to about this. But essentially what this means is that you have to act like an owner, be an owner, and you can't be free from the consequences of your decisions. What this means for customers is that if you make Terminal better, you get paid from Terminal. It's called the Creator Fund, and I'll link below. If you are a team member and you ship one of these bugs, because we move quickly, we respect speed, that means that you kind of need to fix it. So over the last several months, when we've had some issues in our production server, I don't really care if it's Saturday night. I don't really care if you're doing something else at the time. If you deployed something that broke, I'm going to mention you and call you out and try to work with you to fix it. We try to solve these issues, though, dispassionately. We don't get emotional. We don't start throwing fingers around, because if anything, we'd have to point our fingers at me for making speed one of our core values. But that's skin in the game. Next, and this is why core values came up at our team retreat a week or two ago, is respect expertise. So we have several team members who have very specific knowledge, whether it's something technical, something soft skills with people, but very specific knowledge that applied at Terminal has a 10x return compared to maybe applying those skills at another project. And when I acknowledge that so-and-so is really, really good at this one thing, I don't really want other people to debate them about that one thing. What's the point? What's the point of having specialists if you don't let them sort of be dictators in that realm? And so I could list the great things, the great skills that people on our team have, but just to highlight for myself, I'm very good at publicly apologizing. And so that's kind of what I've been doing the last few months. If you've been following along our journey, you're aware that we've suffered several delays with shipping our second device, the Model X. And again, we've had some downtime. That's always my fault. That's always on me. And I always try to hold myself accountable and make sure everyone's aware of what's going on and what we're doing about it. So we try to respect expertise, which I think lends itself well to moving quickly and having that skin in the game. And then a couple more. These are very recent. These have been, suggested by the team in the last week or two. One of them is, I'm going to read it, never Enshitify or downgrade the user experience. And the way I'm interpreting this, I like it, is I think it's our job as we develop this platform and make it more complex or advanced, we should also seek to compress the complexity. If you look at a lot of your favorite products, they've gotten better and better over the years. But when you log in, when you click around, you're not overwhelmed with 50 more buttons for each of those new features. If you're looking for them, you can find them. If you need them, they're there for you. But for that average user experience, it should actually get simpler over time. It should get easier to use over time. So I do like this core value, and we may be adding it to the official list very soon. And then lastly, another proposal from the team is built for humans. This one in 2026 is wild because so many things that people do now is actually built for non-humans. We're building LLMs.txt. We're building Markdown, Claude skills. We're working on GEO instead of SEO. So how do we rank with chatbots versus rank for people searching sentences in Google? And it's really important that we still remember that we're building ultimately for humans. So I'd like to think we're doing that at Terminal. We're going to keep working on it. But I just wanted to list these core values. Going back though to the other aspects, vision and mission. Your vision is something that potentially is never achievable, but maybe kind of it could be. I'll give you an example. My last company, we were a social proof marketing tool, and our vision was to give honest marketers or give entrepreneurs the credibility they deserve. That's the vision. How do you quantify that? Well, we quantify that with a mission statement, which was to help 1 million consumers make better buying decisions online. And that was easy to quantify because we could look at our web analytics. And after a year or two, we realized that many millions of people had used our product to make different buying decisions. So we upgraded our mission to help 100 million consumers make better buying decisions. And everything is downstream from that. So you have to have your values so that you know how to navigate. They give you a lens by which to make decisions as a manager or founder, but also those lenses get passed along to the whole team. Whether you're sending someone a customer support email, debating a refund, how much, whether you're helping someone debug or add a feature or say yes or no to something, having that set of core values baked in goes a long way. So that's all I got for you today. No fancy B-roll. I got my American shirt on, and I hope you have a great weekend. Hope this was helpful. Ciao.